Good evening, everybody. Tonight I have the pleasure to introduce one of our B2 students, Diego Hachi. He is going to talk about a very interesting topic today, so please, Diego, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I am Diego, a B2 level student, and today I am going to talk to you about one of the famous novels by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, The Autumn of the Patriarch. Gabriel Garcia Marquez was a Colombian novelist, short story writer, and journalist, known for his literary style of magical radiance. That is basically the combination of elements of the reality and elements of the imagination. Garcia won a Nobel Prize for Literature in 1982. He studied law at the National University of Colombia. Other novel that he wrote was Cien Años de Soledad. It tells the story of the Buendia family with 7 generations and a century of life. Garcia published this novel in 1975. The Autumn of the Patriarch tells a story of an elderly dictator who has held power for over 100 years in a fictional Caribbean country. Throughout this novel, his memories, marked by violence and loneliness, are explored. The dictator, son of a woman from the village, faces betrayals, conspiracies, and the death of loved ones, such as his wife and son. Each chapter presents a different narrative perspective, allowing the reader to evolve into the mind of the patriarch and his surroundings. The work becomes a criticism of Latin American dictatorship, showing how power corrupts and dehumanizes both the leader and his people. In the end, the dictator dies alone and forgotten, symbolizing the inevitable decadence of power. Gabriel Garcia Marquez wrote The Autumn of the Patriarch in a political context characterized by instability and oppression in Latin America during the Cold War. The region was a scenario of military dictatorship supported by United States and the Soviet Union. It is a novel that explores the decadence and loneliness of a dictator who has ruled his country for centuries. It addresses themes like corruption, absolute power, the dehumanization it caused, loneliness, and authoritarianism. Garcia Marquez used a dense prose without traditional chapters, with multiple narrators and elements of magical rulings to create a chaotic and oppressive atmosphere that criticizes Latin American dictatorship in the 20th century. Some characters that appear in this novel are the Patriarch, which his name is never mentioned in the novel, Bendición Alvarado. She is the mother of the Patriarch, Leticia Nazareno. She is the wife of the Patriarch, Manuela Sanchez. She is a young woman. Her character is a contrast to the
Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Now I have some questions for you. First of all, why did you choose this topic?
Because for me, in a novel talk about the corruption and deshumanization of a person is very funny and philosophic.
Who is the main character in the novel?
Mm, the patriarch, but in some parts are the village.
Where do you think that the story takes place in the novel?
In some parts, reference to the Guatemala.
Good, brilliant. What kind of leader do you think that the patriarch is? Is he a good leader?
According to some experience in the novel or the people that wrote this novel, the dictator was a nasty person.
Good. And can you tell me how does the patriarch maintain this power during the novel?
With fear, the people was with fear of them because he sent them to prison if they are opposite to his power to his power.
And why is this power so difficult to challenge?
Because he's the only one who can control all the village.
Alright. What is the patriarch's relationship that he has with the population?
He, in some part of the novel, said that he suffered violence and abuse from some of the villagers, and he wanted just vengeance or justice.
According to your opinion, how do you think that the rules of the patriarch affect the country, affect the population in the novel?
Because their rules, because the villagers didn't like the rules that he set, maybe because they are wrong or they are too disappointing for them.
What do you think that the autumn of the patriarch means? What does the topic mean for you?
Technically, the autumn of the patron is because his body is found lifeless in the autumn in his palace.
Do you think that we live something different in Latin America?
In some countries, yes. Some countries has some countries have the democracy, the vote.
Can you tell me what are some examples of the countries that have lived the experience?
The most common example is the dictatorship of Fulgencio Batista in Cuba. He censored the press and the radio, suspend the constitutional guarantee throughout the country. At his opponents, he sent them to prison and he used the terrorist methods.
Has this situation occurred in the whole world or just in Latin America?
One example can be Hitler is the most dictator that the world knows.
And what do you think about it? What is your opinion?
His motivation was very dumb because hate the Jews just for being Jews don't mean that you can kill them.
Good. Can you tell me more about the end of the novel?
Well, the novel is basically the same, just experience of the villagers, experiences that they had with the dictator, just The end is when we find that the dictator is already died in his palace.
Oh, so he died in the palace.
Yes.
Okay, and what do you think that this death, what does it mean for you? What is the significance that we have?
That finally the village were tired of this dictator and decided to kill him.
Can you tell me how does Garcia Marquez describe the pattern relationship with women?
In an interview, Garcia said that the patriarch was very handsome with women because the only person that he had when he was child was his mother.
Good, perfect. Good. Can you tell me who are the key people around the butcher and how do they help to harm them? To harm him, I'm sorry.
Mm, Bendición Alvarado, his mother, he helped him to choose some decision for the village. His wife, Leticia Nazareno, he just stayed with him for every decision he took. Yeah, the general Rodrigo de Aguilar also because he was loyalty to the dictator.
What do you think that was the perspective of the family of the butcher? Did they agree with him?
They agree with him because the family also was scared of him.
Why was the family scared of him?
Because he didn't care if they were his family. He also sent them to prison if it is necessary.
So he didn't make differences between family and the population. All right, good. That's really interesting. Can you tell me what role does loneliness play in the life of the patriarch?
He's a very solitary person because he doesn't trust in anyone, even if in the General Rodrigo de Aguilar, he doesn't trust in anyone.
Good. What do you think that in what ways is the story about power and corruption?
Corruption because the dictator didn't care about the feelings of the village. He just want to the village did what he want to they did.
All right, perfect. Can you tell me, according to your opinion, do you think the patriarch is a victim or is a villain, and why?
I think that the patriarch is a victim. He just wants vengeance because, yeah, in his childhood he was victim of violence abuse by some person of the village.
So, in the past, he used to suffer with violence.
Yes.
And do you think that this was the cause that he turned out to be in this villain person?
Yes, I think so.
So, every has a consequence.
Yes.
Everything has a consequence. All right. Good. What do you think that are the lessons that Aaron of the Butcher teaches about leadership or authority?
Leadership that you have to choose the right decision in the benefit of all, not just for you.
Yeah. And what about authority?
That if you want to the village take you in a serious way, you have to be very rude sometimes with them to show respect.
All right. Can you tell me how does the novel show the decline of the Patra's power?
Sorry.
All right. How does the novel show the decline of the Patra's power?
Because at the beginning of the novel, it says that the palace is big, beautiful, with all the village very happy. But in the end of the novel is the opposite. The people are disappointed of their dictator. The dictator is alone. The palace is well. The palace is very poor.
What is your opinion about this book?
In my opinion, this book is very original with the theme of the corruption. I think it's the first book that talk about the corruption, a real corruption or dictatorship.
We as Ecuadorians, do we live in a time of corruption?
Yes, we had corruption in the presidents of Abdalá Bucaram, Rafael Correa. They took a lot of money when they were in the power.
And what people should do against this corruption?
That people should be us, but we are afraid of the power also.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for your presentation. Now you can say goodbye.
Goodbye.